As Ben said, my name is Mike Roche. I'm the Director of Business Development at the Alliance. Before I get started, I don't want to be the first person on stage without a sports reference. If the Brewers win today, they play at 1 o'clock. George Webb's giving away free burgers. So stop out later. We'll give you an update and tell you where you can get your free food. Ben, I was the guy Ben was talking about when he said earlier, some of you don't know how to use QR codes. So I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. By show of hands, how many of you are not familiar with the Alliance? Okay, so we'll give you a 2-second overview. In 5 words or less, we're a network. So you think Aetna, United, Anthem, but that's really where the similarity stops. We believe that it's our duty as a not-for-profit cooperative to give employers and their consultants the data that we have so that you can manage your health plan. So what we're going to do today is walk through the journey of an employer who uses the Alliance. They came to us 6 years ago. They were fully insured. This is the kind of thing that all the consultants in the room talk about. A lot of the employers in the room are already using in their benefit plan, but we want to show you how it can work. So this is the plan design that this employer has. 0 deductible if you use independent direct primary care. And if you want to know why I use independent direct primary care instead of just DPC, come see me later. And then the Alliance has identified some preferred value providers that bring great value to the market. This employer has it set up. If you use those, it doesn't cost you a dime. Second tier is all of the UW providers and all the Marshfield providers along with the WPS statewide network. Again, no deductible, but you have some co-pays. Outside of that, it's every other provider in the Alliance and First Health because the employer has some folks out of state. And nobody goes out of network. So we're going to look at how their journey has gone. Come on. There we go. So a couple things to notice. When this group first came on, they had about 25 folks on their plan. They went level funded for the first 3 years that they used the Alliance network. The great thing to note on the far left side, their in-network percentage is outstanding. The first 2 years, they really did nothing other than use the network. Discounts were good. They talked to their employees about going to value, but really didn't have a plan in place to help employees find that information. They started adding more employees. In 2023, they put the plan design that I showed you in place. They used direct primary care and incent their folks to use it by paying for it. So what you notice the last couple of years, boy, this thing is touchy. They've put independent direct primary care in. Those numbers are not in that claims number. So claims are relatively steady, spend is relatively steady. But where are folks getting the care is the question. So this employer, they like to break it out by tier. How many folks are going to the tier 1 providers where it costs them nothing? How many are going to tier 2 and how many are going to tier 3? As you would expect, first year, not a whole lot of folks are going to tier 1. It's a process. You've heard it before. You're going to hear it the rest of the conference. It takes time for folks to change their habits. You get into year 2, and you look at the number of tier 1 and tier 2 visits as opposed to tier 3. That's what you want your folks to do. It's getting to the right point. I think by the end of 25, you're going to see something very similar. The adoption of the tier where there's value, the tier where it doesn't cost the employer, their dependents anything, is really taking hold. So one of the things that we like to provide employers is a hits and misses report. And all that really means is if you have a tier where you want folks to go, we can tell you when there was an opportunity, did they go get their colonoscopy at a provider that's in that preferred tier, or did they go somewhere else? If you look at that year 2024, I think the employees are doing a pretty good job going where the employer asks them to go. In the hits column, it's roughly $3,500 for a colonoscopy. Is that a great price for a colonoscopy? in the market this group is in, it is pretty good. And for those that went somewhere else, it was almost $5,000. So employees are understanding there's value to be had. When we dig into the hits, this is something I want to highlight. If you look at the CTs in 2025 so far, they've had two. One went to a tier 1 provider, it cost $425. That's a great rate. One went to tier 2, still in a preferred tier, but it costs $4,300. What we see from employers too often is they get fixated on that. That's a great teaching point. It's an education point for your employees, but we don't think that's where you should really spend most of your time. Where you should spend most of your time is on a slide like this. What's the PEPM? Use the information on the hits and misses report to educate your employees so you can drive this. How many of you wouldn't take a negative 5% trend over 5 years? Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, this does not include PBM, and as you heard, that's a whole separate animal, but I think this employer is going the right way. There we go. So a couple things I want to leave you with, and then we'll get you onto the next panel. There's a better strategy. So working with your consultants, talking to their partners to figure out how can we try to rope in this healthcare spend. It's a team effort. I talk about independent direct primary care every day, all day. They are the quarterbacks. How many independent direct primary care folks are here? In Wisconsin, they are popping up everywhere, and it's only going to help employers control their costs, one, but I think more importantly, get better access to care for your employees. So working with them, making sure you're using a good strategy to educate your employees, like the group that we're talking about here. First couple of years, it was slow. The employees are really picking up how this works, how they can save money, both short-term on not having to use a deductible, but also long-term, hey, next year if we do this right, my deductibles don't go up, my premiums don't go up, everybody wins. And lastly is the data. Make sure you're getting that information from your network. If you're not, there's no way for you to manage your spend and try to change it. So if I knew how to use that QR code and hit Slido, the question that would be at the top is, who's this employer? It's the Alliance. So the reason I tell you that now is when you go back and look at, we had misses and we had a lot of hits. We're an organization that lives and breathes this every day. From myself and Bobby Joe to our claims folks to our underwriters, they understand it and we still can't get it right 100% of the time. We have 93% of our employees using independent direct primary care, but there are a couple who still prefer to use a system, and that's fine. They understand what it costs them. But I bring this up because don't let perfect stand in the way of really, really good. If you're an employer that puts this in first year and you get 10% of your folks or 15% of your folks to move, you're doing a great job. Continue with the education, continue with your broker partnership, and you will get close to these results when people start to understand the value of the care they get using DPCs and preferred value providers and the costs they save themselves.